What's up, everybody? How the fuck y'all doing tonight? Oh! Sorry, I've been watching Goodfellas a little bit too much recently. Like Jimmy 2 times. I'm gonna go get the papers. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to what is the second installment in a 2-part special series here on the Crash Bang Boom Drumming Podcast, where I talk to musicians about shit jobs they've had along the way while pursuing music, and that is appropriately titled Odd Jobs. Part deuce, motherfuckers! On today's episode, we have Coady Willis of Big Business in the Melvins, Ben Koeller of Mutoid, Converge, All Pigs Must Die, and about a trillion other bands, Matt Cudo of Elder, Ryan Legs Leger of Norma Jean, X Every Time I Die, Jimmy Bauer of Down, Eyehategod, Superjoint Ritual, and 1,000 other bands, Phil Sangiacomo, a.k.a. Phillapino, Grigio, Anselmo, a.k.a. Filibuster Rhymes, of Somnuri, Adam Betts of 3 Trap Tigers, Shoebaleader 1, and amazing solo work, Macisas of Yoink, Noidy of Manila Road and Trance, my buddy Mike Ogden down in New Orleans, who used to play in this crazy band Nut, Evan DePrima of Royal Thunder, Chris Enriquez of Spotlights and Primitive Weapons, plus Marcus Bryant of Spirited Drift and Goya. We touch on everything from mental hospitals, window cleaners, ice cream stands, lumber yards, shitty hotels, factory jobs, janitorial work, music stores, and getting fired from them. Somehow, Ryan and I both managed to get fired from fucking music stores. Movie theaters, silly cover bands, being a street hustler for a titty bar, insurance salesman, bear wrestling, office jobs, dishwashing, bartending, fast food, and a bunch of other shitty jobs. If you're looking to put vinyl out, feel free to reach out to my sponsor, New Orleans Record Press, right on over at neworleansrecordpress.com. Check out all of the varying packaging options, plus coloring options for the vinyl, mastering, all that good stuff. If you're going to put a physical copy of your work out in the world, might as well be on vinyl, because that shit sounds good, looks good, smells good, all the things. It's all too damn good. So yes, go on over to neworleansrecordpress.com for all that info. Put in an order. Tell them Crash Bang Boom Podcast sent you. If you listen to this and like what you hear, and or you listen to a few of these and would like to listen to some more, feel free to go over to the Crash Bang Boom Podcast SoundCloud page, where you can find links to all of the social media stuff, plus YouTube, Stitcher, etc. Please subscribe, give me a good rating, do all that good stuff, and I'll keep the magic happening. So here we go. Without further ado, Crash Bang Boom!
Crowds go mad with joy.
Is there any particular shitty job that strikes your mind, or just strange, or even an awesome one that in hindsight?
No, I mean, I bartended for years and years, and that was not the hardest job I've ever had. Once I was living in Bellingham, I wasn't a musician at the time, or I wasn't actively playing music, but I was a dishwasher at a Chinese restaurant buffet.
Oh, dude.
So it was like,
ooh, they
hired me on this. I saw a help wanted sign. I went in, I think I was 18.
Yeah.
And they, it was right before I moved to Seattle, actually. And they were like, can you start right now?
Like when you went in for the interview, they're like, start immediately.
Yeah, they didn't ask who I was or anything. They were like, put an apron in my hand and sent me back. And there was, I guess the previous dishwasher had walked out on the job.
Oh, shit.
So there was like 12 or 13 like bus tubs full of dishes just stacked up.
And
I don't know if anybody out there has ever washed Chinese food after it has had a chance to dry. It was like just shellac, like back there with like steel wool. But the best part was they would just keep bringing me. It had a lounge next door, so I was allowed to smoke and drink.
Awesome.
While I was washing dishes, which I thought was really cool.
Piles and piles of dishes. How long did you have that job?
I don't know, maybe like 6 months or 8 months.
Damn, that's a commitment, man.
Yeah.
6 to 8 months. I did it for. I was I was a dishwasher, and I probably did that for maybe 4 months or so. Yeah, it's not awesome.
It's not, but it's also like I mean, you don't have to deal with people.
That's
nice.
You
don't have to deal with the public,
right?
Like I could listen to my music back there,
right?
So it wasn't the worst job.
That's
in the
actually
world,
pretty good.
Yeah.
As opposed to being a bartender where you're front facing and you've got to deal with.
Yeah, I also really like bartending. It was really fun. It's different, the kind of different bars that you work at. It depends,
of course,
because I've worked at venues, and that's usually pretty cool. if your bar is outside, actually where the music is being played,
right,
like outside of the showroom,
just as opposed to just getting fucking blasted by music.
Exactly, like especially when there's, not all bands are good.
Right,
it's a fact.
Right,
and there's also like I worked at a bar where it was all just regulars.
Oh yeah,
and some of them were like pretty professional in their regularity.
Consumption and regular.
Yeah. Like you would, I would inherit customers from the day bartender, and know that I was going to be kicking them out at the end of the night.
Oh.
And they came in like the bar opened at 6 a.m. You know what I
wow,
mean? Like
awesome.
they'd be there all day drinking.
Putting in a shift.
Putting in a full shift. Yeah. I've cashed a couple social security checks at the bar.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's fun.
Killer, man.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
All right, man.
Did you have any particular shitty job that you worked while playing music?
Oh, sure. All my jobs have been shitty, except for being in bands. My first job, well, I wasn't in. Wait, was I in band? Yeah, my first job was at McDonald's.
Oh, you did. So you did the fast food thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I worked at IHOP.
Oh, wow. You did.
But
you made your rounds.
But I worked at IHOP for like a week. It was because it smelled so fucking bad in the kitchen.
Were people
I was
assholes
actually
as
like
well?
physically sick.
Oh, wow.
No, people weren't assholes. The place just smelled so like your clothes at the end of the night.
Just a grease
dude,
pit.
It was like a fucking like dumpster full of dog shit on fire. It was so fucking gross. And then I worked at Dunkin' Donuts, and that was actually a great job.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how was it so great?
Because we had a couple scams that we ran.
Oh, nice. You get like donuts.
I don't want to give away trade secrets, but no. Well, you were supposed to throw away the donuts at the end of the night, but we were always playing like local shows, like at VFWs and shit. And
so you bring a bag of donuts.
We would get a trash bag, and we would just dump every single
free
donut.
Donuts at the gig.
Free donuts. We'd have donut fights.
I've had donut fights.
It's great.
It's fucking awesome.
We used to go out back and kick bagels into the woods, and then all these like animals started to come, and so we had like a little animal sanctuary in the back of the store.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Worked at a video store in Boston while I was in Converge, actually.
Not like a major one like Blockbuster? Or
no, like a mom and pop kind of
nice
chain
one.
with like weird culty shit. And
cool.
And they had a lot of gay porn, so they're always creeps coming in asking like, when's the new porn shipment, man? And they would rent like 8 at a time.
Really?
And come back the next day.
Yeah.
I never got that.
Wow.
Wait, dude, so you're going to watch 8 porns in a row? And
right.
then bring it back tomorrow? That's fucking crazy.
That's like 8 hours. Maybe there's a drug-fueled like jerk session going on.
Yeah, maybe. Or they had like 8 TVs set up at once. Yeah.
Simultaneously?
That would make sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking A, man.
I've had quite a few weird ones. My current one's at like this local like towny liquor store that I work at.
Okay.
And it's a lot of regulars. They'll come in
Boston?
In Fairhaven, Mass. It's an hour south of Boston.
Okay.
It's like it's like a liquor store that literally 90% of the people that come in every day come in every day. Like,
wow.
You know what I mean? They're in there like 2 or 3 times a day.
Wow.
For cigarettes or scratch cigarettes or nips or
yeah.
So it's kind of a weird. I don't really like it that much. Like the people that I work with are really nice, and the people that come in are super nice too.
Right.
But another one that I had too is this place I worked at Bed and Breakfast, and it was a horrible rundown place up in Boston. I don't want to name it, which I don't really care because the owner was like a really bad dude. And
oh really?
It would just be one worker on, like, so I would be there in charge of like the whole, like 8 rooms or whatever it was. And it was like, there'd be mice running around through the rooms every now and then.
Oh shit.
There would be, like hair all over like sometimes the beds weren't made and like new people would come in, there'd be hair and just like, just disgusting. Like, and then the people would be like, oh, I want to talk to the owner. And then I'd be like, okay, well, let me see if I can get him. And then I'd talk to the owner, and then the owner would be like, I'm not talking to anybody right now.
Oh, shit. So you'd
like,
have to face him?
I would have to just be like, hey, my owner's not going to talk to you. You're not going to get your money back. I'm sorry. Like,
my God.
There's absolutely nothing I could do. So, like, and then another thing about that job is, like, half of the rooms had, like, an emergency exit, like, push bar on them.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes, like, the thing would be, like, a little bit messed up, and, like, the alarm would go off for the whole entire thing.
Oh,
like,
my God.
3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and people would be coming down being like, hey, like, you need to fix this.
Dude,
I'd
that
be
sounds
yeah,
more
I'm
like
trying to-
that sounds more like a lot lizard motel than a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, it was. That was probably the worst job that I ever had. And
that sounds pretty shitty.
When I quit, I literally just told the guy, I was just like, yeah, like I'm quitting, like I'm on shift, like I'm working my last shift right now.
Yeah.
Like you're an asshole. Like there's a reason why people don't stick around at this job, like because like nobody likes you. You're so mean to everybody. If you would just like be a little bit nicer and like accommodating to some of the people, it would make everybody's job a little easier, and there'd be people that would stay for longer than a month. You know?
Right. Holy shit.
And he was just like, "Oh yeah, that's very professional of you." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, I guess it is."
How about unprofessional he fucking was, right?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
So
Amazing.
that's how it ended at that job, and
That's a good way to end a shit job.
Yeah. But if he was nicer, I wouldn't have been like that. But
Right. Yeah. Fuck that guy. Fuck him.
yeah.
Right on.
But I've prank phone called him since then. And
Have you really?
Yeah. And it was a long thing. I think I was drunk too, and he was like, he got so mad and he had no idea who it was. But I actually called up the Beacon Inn. I called.
Say it again. I called the place up.
The Beacon Inn in Brookline, Mass.
Yeah.
And I literally called up the front desk and I was like, "Hey guys, like I'm in like room such and such. There's like a huge rat up here. Like you guys need to like come like get this thing out of here." And they were like, "What? Oh my god!" And I was like, "Chill out. I'm just kidding. I used to work there. How much does the owner suck? Like how bad is it working there?" And the guys were like, "You know what? It's really crappy. Like I hate that guy. Like what the hell?" And I'm like, "Why are you guys working there? Like you guys should just like quit and like be like really mean to him or something like that.
Yeah.
Like tell the people like that are coming there like never to come back because the owner is like such an asshole."
Yeah, absolutely.
So they were like cracking up, the two people that were working there at the time. This was like a few months ago.
That's amazing.
But yeah.
So at least you got a little comedic relief after working that bullshit job, and you were able to more or less tell him to go fuck himself by quitting on the day of.
Yeah, totally. And a little prank phone call never hurt. You know what
absolutely.
I mean?
That's a great.
I'm sure he's gotten many from previous other employees too. Because
you should look up all of the previous employees, and y'all should all start prank calling him on a regular basis, and just fuck the whole thing up.
Yeah, I really should.
All right, man. There you go. That's it.
It's a plan.
And I'm going to put out a separate episode of just shit jobs that you might have had at some point while being a musician.
Shit jobs while being a musician. Actually, Toronto was just, you know what? If you want to be a musician, you better be able to lift something because the factory job is where it's at. Like, it's the only job that you can just pick one up. Factories are always looking for workers.
Right.
So I worked at a brake pad company.
A brake pad company
as a janitor.
Oh, you were a janitor.
We were in the.
I thought you were like applying.
No, we were in the orientation room, and there was like 50 of us getting hired or whatever, and all it was like typical factory: press a button, the little conveyor belt goes.
Yeah.
They go, "Who'd be interested in doing custodial work?" They're like, "You get to drive a dust Zamboni."
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it."
A Zamboni?
Yeah, I was like on the ice there, like on the.
Oh, is that what those are? Is that?
Yeah, like they clear the ice in hockey.
Yeah.
But it was to pick up all the dust in the factory, so I got to scoot around in this thing.
So you kind of did you imagine that you were working in like an ice rink?
I used to scream at the top of my lungs because like there were sections in the factory where like it would be the night shift guys were gone, and you just start screaming and shit. I remember I dropped it in the compost one time. Some guy had to like help me lift this giant thing out. I'd bump into crates and smash them like by accident, but I was just so shitty at driving.
Right.
But no, to answer your question, I had a lot of those shitty jobs. I worked at the cable con. I used to wrap cables all day for 8 hours.
Really? Where were the cables going, and how did you have so many of them?
It was a stage and lighting company.
Oh, well then there's shit tons
but
of
you
cables.
started from the bottom, and
right,
you'd
so
have 50 temps roll in, and that's the other thing. You gotta fucking bust your ass in work as much as like musical work. Like
I've worked in television for now 13 or 14 years, so I know all about some of those shitty production gigs.
You see 20 temps come in, and one guy remains, and it's
right.
like literally the guy that just did the job as asked. Like I just watched 20 guys leave at lunch. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, so a lot of those temp agencies, I get phone calls, factory, and they're like, oh shit, I gotta go on tour or something. Like, oh, we need you here. Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
You bounce, go on tour, and then you just look in the, I don't know, like the classifieds and find the next factory. Look, oh shit, I'm gonna go work at. I worked at call centers.
Oh, really?
Oh, I was selling children's books, like Scholastic.
Did you sell any of them?
I didn't sell any. They fucking
they fired you?
Dude, I got fired from Steve's Music in Toronto because like I didn't sell any drums at all. I was just shop talking the whole time.
Yeah. I got fired from a music store once.
Yeah.
I got fired because this family came in and they were talking about a drum set that was in the window, which was a complete piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I said, and I guess being from the South, I don't know, I talk loud so everybody can fucking hear.
Yeah.
I was being quiet, and I said, listen, if you want to get a better kit, just look for something of these brand names or whatever. You can find one used. It'll definitely be better. It's going to work out. You don't want to buy that.
Yeah.
And the owner totally heard it. And I got totally fired from the music store.
Yeah, that's how this was too. Guys were selling drumsticks and all this little shit, and I'd sell a drum kit or two a month.
Yeah.
And like they were just like, fuck, this little shithead just selling like cymbal felts.
Right.
But he was making more money, selling more shit than I was, and the same with you. I just like shoot the shit with these families and like,
right.
You don't want that, fucking buy this. You don't want that fucking whatever.
Right.
I can't remember the brands that I used to have Camber or some shit.
Right.
I don't buy that crap. I'll be fucking throwing it out in a month. But no, I got fired from selling drums. Like out of all jobs, the one job I was like pumped on.
I essentially did too as well.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. How about that?
So factories, to answer your question, get into factory work and because you're gonna need it.
Fucking A.
Unless you work for your uncle or something, he'll give you time off every couple of months or whatever. But yeah, hell yeah.
Nice. Right on, Ryan. Thanks for talking to me, man.
Thanks again, dude.
All right, fucked up jobs. Jimmy Bauer.
I got a couple. I worked for this company called Acme, and we would wash windows, and I found myself fucking hanging from a fucking rappel line, changing light bulbs on the Jack's Brewery sign on Decatur Street. I'm like, what am I doing, dude?
Oh, man.
Worked at the Belle Chase State Mental Hospital.
For real?
Yeah, moving furniture. It was for Manpower. Moving furniture from one room to another, and
in a mental
got
hospital.
beat up by a mental patient.
Really?
This chick, she beat the fuck out of me.
Really?
Yeah, and the dudes were like, I'm sorry, bro, she don't like white people. I was like, dude. I mean, it was like, they should have told you not to go in there. I was like, what the? I was like, who's running this shit?
Yeah.
And I went home like fucked up, man.
Really?
But and I called Joey. I said, dude, you just stand in the middle of the courtyard and you hear. I said, please let me borrow your cassette recorder.
Yeah.
It was back when, if you had a cassette recorder,
Fuck
it was
yeah.
killer.
Just record some of the crazy sounds in that
Something
place?
I could put in my pocket. And I went, I recorded a bunch of shit. And
Come
all
on.
that. Oh, yeah, I still got the cassette.
Come
man.
on.
Yeah.
Have you listened to it since?
Yeah. I mean, I literally went in the middle of the courtyard and just hit record. And it's just people moaning and, it's like, it's not funny, but,
No, but it's
I was
fascinating.
like 18 years old. I was like,
That's fucking fascinating.
Yeah.
I want to hear that shit.
Karma. Yeah, I mean, I've done everything, man. Every odd job you can think of, that most musicians do. So
Right.
That's so many shitty jobs. I think the shittiest job I ever had was an ice cream stand when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Although I got free ice cream, so that was kind of cool.
Are you an ice cream fan?
I like ice cream.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like a twist with maybe some sprinkles.
Oh, that's a twist with some sprinkles.
And some
some nuts, maybe?
Yeah, some nuts.
Yeah. Oh.
No cherries.
No cherries?
No.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, those cherries are not good for you, I hear.
I don't know that eating ice cream all the time is good for you either. It's one of the more common elements amongst morbidly obese people.
Yeah.
It seems to be soda and ice cream.
Yeah. Well, there's 1,200 calories in a pint of Ben & Jerry's.
Holy shit.
Just so you know. I don't know how I know that.
You probably had to look it up at some point because you're worried about becoming morbidly obese.
Pretty much. I think other shitty jobs. I've definitely had shittier jobs than that because that was like high school,
Yeah.
People would roll around and be like, give us free ice cream. And be like doing whippets in the back. You cut that out of there.
I know. I'm not cutting that out, man. Doing whippets in the back and selling ice cream. That's actually pretty good.
I worked in a lumber yard. That was grueling.
Were you at least able to drive a forklift or anything?
Didn't let me do that.
No.
I was like 18. They were like, fuck no, you're not getting that forklift.
So you just had to manually just carry lumber around, basically?
Yeah. I would use the skylift, though, to get all the way to the top rafters and then just chill up there and, take a little snooze.
Really? You'd go take naps?
Oh, yeah. I'd disappear for like 45 minutes. Be like, I'm going to go organize this top scaffolding section of product.
Just take a nice little nap?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's hard. college.
Yeah, you don't want to stress yourself out too much, man. It's hard being an 18-year-old.
Yeah, working, going to school, all that.
Yeah,
shit, you know?
take a fucking nap, man. It's very European of you.
Yeah.
You had a little siesta.
Exactly.
An American siesta.
Yeah.
In the lumberyard. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, oh Christ, there are almost too many to mention.
Many shit musical jobs?
Yeah, I think it's that funny bit, isn't it? Like when you're trying to earn a living as a musician, you at some point say
you're
yes
at the
to
disposal of it.
You
You're
say
gonna
yes to everything. But my first gig when I was in London, we were the hottest Latino band in town, and we went to Ireland and did like 3 gigs, and it was these kind of hilariously gyrating dancers for housewives in Dublin that were absolutely they were ravenous by the end of it, and I walked on stage to try and get my drums off, and they all screamed at me and demanded I took my shirt off, and that was like, I hate music. it was that was pretty funny. But there's been some we've done some pretty toe-curling ones, and I think non-music, God, everything, like working in the Odeon cinema, cleaning up some old man's pants where he'd shat himself in the toilets. I worked for an insurance company where it was just, it was so bleak, but you just kind of, the first week you just take the afternoon off, and by the end I worked out how to kind of get 3 hours off for a lunch break and go home early and just not do any work. And then I quit that job by phoning them up when I got into college and just left them this long drunk answer phone message, just being like, I'm never fucking coming back, and then realised I had another 9 months till I actually moved to London and was totally skinned. Plenty of shit jobs.
That's funny, man. Cool, man. Appreciate it, Adam.
Cheers.
What have you done to survive, I guess, since you've been in New York?
Yeah, see, this is where this gets fucked, because when I first came here, I was trying to figure out what the fuck I would do here, because I knew I wouldn't survive if I did anything like what I was doing in San Antonio. San Antonio, I was like working as a music instructor. I worked as a audio engineer, but like with this old couple, like I was there. They have like a small time label, and I would help Daniel Kolbialka. He's a classical violinist. He makes he makes like new age music stuff. So
yeah. You were working in a studio with him?
Yeah, and he's like a really nice, awesome dude. And my professor from UTSA hooked me up with that gig right out of school. And I mean, it's very, very small time. I would just go to their house. They have a room with the studio.
That's super cool, though.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great experience. And Dan would just sit there and record, and he was like so nice to me, and I learned so much from that whole experience. But coming to New York, like I can't. Like I'm just not a very good audio engineer.
Yeah.
And drum instructor, forget it. Like there's too many fucking amazing drummers here. I'm just like not. I wasn't even gonna try. I'm just not gonna fucking try. But I
would have taken a lesson from you had I run it. I'd be like, all right, you can show me what the fuck you're talking about.
I love to teach. It's so much fun. But I had got the idea that I would get into computer programming stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So for a while I was working as a iOS engineer at this small startup.
Really?
Yeah. So I was doing that. Like I went to school. I went to one of those boot camps.
Really?
Here.
And you were able to like get a grasp on it enough to
decent
enough
enough to get me my first job. Let's just say that, because I never got a job out of it after that. So like,
oh really?
Yeah, no, like I tried. Like I was unemployed for 6 months, and I was trying to get this fucking job. Never happened.
Were you at least able to get the New York unemployment?
I did.
Good.
And that was nice.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It was really
It'll
nice.
At least cover some rent.
Yeah, it's
and
definitely
some beers. It'll get you light beers and rent.
Yeah, your piss water beer.
Ramen noodles.
So I was doing that, and once unemployment ran out, I did that. But I came to a realization I can't, like, that computer programming shit just takes too much of my brain.
Yeah.
Like, damn, dude, once I stopped doing it, I was just like, oh my God, like I feel so much better. Like, because it's not menial work, So like, I've just come to the realization I'm gonna have to go back to like doing not those jobs.
Yeah.
It takes too much of my soul.
Yeah.
I can't fucking do that.
Yeah, and by the late 90s, a pop duo was asking me if I could play with them.
Yeah.
They did this kind of Depeche Mode with guitar thing with a little gothic in it.
Uh-huh.
So the opposite of what I like, but they were with the BMG Records and a major label. And so I joined. We went on tour with him and Paradise Lost. And at one point I found myself in an interview. And just before this interview, they told me, hey, you have to say that your main influence is Depeche Mode.
Just lie.
Yeah, okay, I did that. And then this guy asked me, what's your favorite Depeche Mode album? And I didn't know anything.
Oh, no!
And then I tried to make it look like I'm fainting or something. So, wait a second, I feel not good. And then I left the interview.
Nice!
This might have been the weirdest moment in my band life so far, yeah.
Well, you know what? This kind of kicks me off into a funny advent about this job I had one time back in the early '90s. You know, I was playing music, so basically that meant any job you had was between gigs and just to get you enough money to get gas to get to gigs and whatever. You know, if there was a good Mardi Gras parade or a good party or especially a good show, you definitely couldn't keep that restaurant job anymore. You had to get it. You could always get another one the next week.
Right.
Well, anyway, so I don't know how I ended up on Bourbon Street, and I got a job as the barker for the wrestling ring at what's the Big Daddies? The ones with the legs that would come flying out. You know,
it's Big Daddies.
Classic. You know, when you're a teenager and you don't know anything and you're going downtown, everybody goes to Bourbon Street. Most locals don't, by the way. But when you don't know anything, you check it out. Well, as a kid, when you see these legs, risque legs with like thigh highs on coming out of a wall, it's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, I ended up working there. So my job, my job was to get guys or gals, whoever felt up to it, to come in and wrestle the girls for money. So they'd pay their money and wrestle. And of course, these girls were badass, and I knew this ahead of time, but it was great fun. And if they did happen to do pretty well, they'd get like a bar tab or something, but it never happened, So I was able to say, yes, I worked at Big Daddy's, and that was probably my coolest job ever.
That is amazing. I was just since I've been on this trip, I've been down here for about a week or so. One of my dad's favorite stories. This was not a job that he had, but the guy who was doing this, the behind the scenes thing, is an interesting story. So my dad lived in Kentucky for a little while.
Beautiful.
Where he did he got his master's degree there and ended up like psychoanalyzing like incestuous coal mining families up in the fucking mountains.
Yeah, I lived up there for a while, so I know it's a whole nother. You go up there, it's like time warp.
Yeah.
When you go up high enough, it is banjos and shit. It's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
For real.
He rolled in at the time. This was in the early 70s. He rolled in on a motorcycle, and they thought he came in on a fucking spaceship. They didn't know what was going on. But in any case, during that time, he rode by like a parking lot where they had like I don't know, mall, like whatever a mall was in the 70s or whatever. But there was this dude who had a cage with a bear in it.
Nice.
And you could pay $10 and win $500 if you could stay in the cage with him for a minute. Now they had trimmed his claws.
He still whipped your ass.
And he had a muzzle on, so he couldn't fucking shred you that way.
How big was the thing?
My dad said it was a pretty big fucking black bear.
A couple 100 pounds, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh,
and they're strong.
Jesus.
They're fucking super. They're gorilla strong.
Oh yeah.
So my dad was, at the time, he was feeling young and spry, and he was like, "Fuck this! I can run from
Hold
this."
my beer.
Exactly. I guarantee you that is what he said.
I wish we had video of that.
So he got in there, and he said about 30 seconds went by, and he was evading the bear because the bear had been doing it all day, and he was like, maybe this is my chance. I paid my $10. I'm going to get my $500. But at then some point, he heard a ding, 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 and it was a little bell. And my dad was like, what the fuck was that? And then the bear pounced on him. And he was up under this bear that was just like fucking snarling in his face. And he was
Holy
like,
shit.
Yeah. And turns out all that bear got were some blueberries.
But here's that bell.
He heard that blueberry bell, and he was ready to go fucking get his blueberries.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's my dad's story about trying to wrestle a bear in Kentucky.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea in any state. For blueberries, beers, or anything. Gee.
Any particular shitty one that you could think of?
Particular shitty job. When I was younger, there was this like shitty pizza spot that I was on the job hunt. And I went in and like first shift in, like I just fucking walked out the back door.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it was
just rolled out.
Yeah, just rolled out.
How was it so
dude.
bad?
Just they treated me like shit, like from the get-go.
Really?
And I was just like, fuck this, dude.
What were you doing there? Were you delivering pizzas?
No, I was actually, like, they hired me, like, I think I was maybe like 19 or something.
Yeah.
They hired me as a cook, and when I got there, they were like, "Yeah, you're gonna be the dishwasher." And I was like, "Look, I wouldn't care if you hired me as the dishwasher, like that's what I would expect. But the thing is, you hired me as something else, and
right.
I get there and you change it. So fuck you." You know.
And that was it. You rolled the fuck out.
Yeah.
Did you tell him to fuck off on your way out, or you just?
No, I just left.
Just an Irish goodbye. Adios.
I didn't say bye to anybody. Yeah.
Really?
Just left.
Rolled out.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
But I was young. I would never do that now because like you got to be thankful for whatever job you can get, especially being a musician. You know. So.
Right on. Do you have any particular shitty job that you worked while being a musician that you could talk about? Yeah? I've had no shortage as well.
Like every job that sucks that like a guy in a band had to have is a job that I had.
Really?
Yeah.
What were some of the shittier ones that you recall?
Well, I shouldn't say shitty, but like I've
strange ones.
I was a barista at every place. I was at Starbucks.
Right.
I was at
Really?
Borders. I was at Barnes & Noble. At
Really?
the coffee thing, independent coffee shops,
Yeah.
Tower Records.
Really?
Guitar Center.
Yeah.
I mean, those aren't shit. They're just typical. I shouldn't
Right.
say shitty, but like,
Yeah.
oh, I worked at Fridays for a day and couldn't handle it.
And quit?
Because it was just gross. But I was like, there was a very long time where I'm like, kind of like take what you can get.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens.
Minimum wage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you say Fridays, you talking TGI Fridays?
Yeah, they just, I was a busboy, and after one day, like they didn't, I feel bad, but like it was just like, it just didn't seem sanitary.
Yeah.
I would like, I remember getting yelled at on my first shift for taking too much time to clean the silverware.
What?
Which I thought was weird. It's a lot of you got to think a lot of these places do it really quick.
Right.
There's ways they just throw it in some solution or some sort of chemical.
Yeah.
And they take it out. I didn't know that. I'm used to cleaning
Right.
my silverware. So, and the amount of time where I would take it and then put it back ready for like the servers to put out on the tables.
Yeah.
I'm a weird germaphobe.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's gross. I
Fuck
can't
that.
stay here
Getting
anymore.
out of there.
Yeah.
Lasted one shift.
It was one shift, and I worked at Urban Outfitters, and that was horrible.
Oh,
for
really?
A while. Yeah, and I
Would you just like fold jeans and pants and shirts?
You're gonna laugh because I did. I did the same thing at Guitar Center that I did at Urban Outfitters. I was the guy that would like check the receipts.
Oh wow!
On the way out, and then like when it was dead, I would like fold. You know, it was in the house. I think it was called the housewares area. So it was folding rugs and shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's an Asian guy folding Oriental rugs. It's pretty fucking, just so I could go play with my shitty band on a fucking basement tour. This is how you ruin your life.
Exactly. Amazing, man. Good one. Was there any particular shitty job that you worked while playing music that you could recall?
Oh yeah. The worst job I ever had was it was an office job. It wouldn't have mattered what it was.
Right. Just inane.
It happened to be University of Phoenix, which is a fucking scam, by the way.
Oh boy.
I knew it when I worked there. But, we're selling education. This is bullshit.
Right.
Whatever. So that, like, I remember working there, and I was like, fuck, office space is real life, man. That's like, this is no shit. Like, hey, you're not a team player, Marcus. And it's like, fuck all of you. Like, sitting in this little cubicle. Like, I tried it because, like, the pay was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to take this, like, better
Sure.
paying job.
How bad could it be?
I lasted 10 months. It was 10 months. That's longer than I thought I would last.
I'm amazed you lasted that long.
I ended up, doing what a lot of people do, which is like, I'm like, all right, fuck this, I'm done. And then I just hung out not doing shit until they figured it out.
And did they fire you?
They have this really sneaky way of getting you to quit so that they don't have to pay unemployment.
Oh wow! How did that work?
The way that they fire people is so fucked. Is you're in this big open office space. You got your little cubicle.
Yeah.
They come up with since there's sensitive information. They come up with a security guard and a manager and a big box, and they just huddle around your desk, hand you the box. If you're on the phone, hang up the phone, and put all your personal things in there, and they escort you out of the building. So you get paraded in front of everybody.
But that sounds like they fired you.
No, that's what they did
to
fire people. So I'm like, I don't really want to be the public humiliation of it all. Like, maybe I shouldn't have cared, but I was like,
I see.
Because they just march you down the line.
Oh, wow. To discourage people from, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that way people will quit, rather than getting fired and collecting unemployment.
I'd be like, fucking humiliate me. Fuck all you. You're going to pay for it. But then do they just not do it? Will they just... they got to fire you at some point.
They're going to fire me at some point. And I just hung out for a long time, had conversations with, a manager about my lack of performance at the job. And,
right.
And
Marcus, you are not a team player in corporate America. You are just not built for it.
Yeah, I can't do it. Every day I'd look up at the building and be like, this is not how... Yeah, people should not be living like this. This is fucking awful. Like... If it was something you cared about, if it's like a work of passion,
sure.
Like if that office space was, I don't know, we were dealing with something that had a creative aspect to it, or something drums that I care about, it would have been different. But sure, you're a fucking telemarketer. Fuck you. Like it's awful.
You know what? It sounds as though you're an artist and/or a musician, spoken like a true creative person.
Well, I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, everything you just said is indicative of someone who would rather be doing something creative rather than fucking, punching in and punching out and sitting in a cubicle all day.
I need to see something like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did today.
Right.
Like that's way more. For me, that's more fulfilling. Like
sure.
I need something to hold or see or listen to,
Right.
I need a project, not just, numbers on a board. Like, here's your numbers for the month. And I'm like, oh, we. I enrolled 5 people. Who gives a shit? Like,
right on, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's good, dude. Yeah. Excellent, man. Well, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. It was really fun doing these 2 special episodes. I hope to bring some more of these down the line. It was a really good time doing them and great talking to these guys and getting some crazy answers and some crazy stories and maybe telling a few of my own. Got plenty more drum nerd conversations and general ridiculousness around the bend. So stay tuned. Until the next one, crash, bang, boom.
Crowds go mad with joy.